It was supposed to be a normal afternoon. Quiet, predictable, the kind where nothing ever happens. I was still in my silk robe, wandering around the house, half cleaning and half daydreaming, when I heard the heavy thud of a package hitting my porch. At first, I didn't rush. Amazon drivers come and go all day in my neighborhood. But then there was another knock. Firmer, almost intentional. I tightened my robe and opened the door just a crack. And that's when I saw him. Tall, warm brown eyes, uniform clinging to him just right, like it was tailored instead of issued. A little out of breath, like he'd jogged to get to my door, even though he didn't need to. He held the package in one hand, but his eyes weren't on it. They were on me. And I realized in that split second that my robe had slipped a little too low on one side. His gaze paused, just long enough for my stomach to tighten, and then he looked back up at me with a smile that was way too bold for a stranger. "Ma'am, I need your signature for this one." His voice was steady, but his eyes, they said something else. I opened the door just a little more. Only a little, but enough. His eyebrows lifted, just a hint, like he noticed every inch of what changed. I reached for the little scanner, but he didn't hand it to me. He stepped forward, closing the space between us, holding it out in a way that made our hands almost touch. My breath caught, my fingers brushed his, and something inside me snapped awake. That wasn't an accident. He wanted me to feel it, and I did. "Just sign right there," he murmured, his voice low, his hand lingering far longer than necessary. When I looked up, his eyes were already waiting for mine. Hungry, curious, confident, like he'd noticed everything I thought I was hiding. And as I handed the device back, my robe slipped again, this time entirely by accident. Except he didn't react like it was. His breath hitched. And I knew right then this delivery wasn't going to be ordinary. Not even close. He didn't step back. Most delivery guys drop the box, smile politely and hurry away. But not him. He stayed right where he was, standing just a little too close. Like he was waiting for something to happen. Or daring me to make it happen. "I think your robe is slipping," he said softly. But he didn't sound embarrassed. He didn't look away. If anything, he watched me like he wanted to memorize every detail. I pulled the fabric up slowly, very slowly, and his eyes followed the motion like he couldn't stop himself. "You okay?" I asked, pretending to be casual, even though my heart was pounding hard enough to shake me. He swallowed, once, and nodded. "Yeah, more than okay." His voice dropped. "Just wasn't expecting to interrupt anything." He said it like a question, like an invitation. And I knew I should have closed the door. I should have laughed it off. I should have ignored the way my skin warmed under his stare. But instead, I opened the door wider. Just a few inches. But for him, it changed everything. His eyes flicked inside my house, then back at me. His whole posture shifted, like a man who suddenly realized the line he thought existed didn't. "You want me to bring the package in for you?" he asked, his voice lower, slower, deliberate. A simple offer, completely normal. But the way he said it, the way he didn't blink, made it feel like something else entirely. Something dangerous, something thrilling, something I knew I shouldn't want, but did. "Sure," I said quietly. My voice barely came out. He lifted the box easily, stepping inside. But he didn't walk past me. He brushed against me. Not enough to call it obvious, but enough to feel him. Warm, solid, real. and way too intentional. I let out the smallest breath, too soft for anyone else to hear. Not him. He heard it. And he smiled, slow, knowing, confident. He set the package down, then turned toward me. Closer this time. Close enough that the air between us felt heavy, thick, charged. "You always answer the door like this?" he asked, eyes tracing the edge of my robe again. "No." I wet my lip without thinking. "Only today." He exhaled. A soft sound that told me exactly what that meant to him. And then he took one step closer, lowering his voice to a whisper only inches from my skin. "Well, I'm glad I delivered this one." He was standing so close I could feel his breath brush the side of my neck. Warm, steady, confident. He wasn't rushing. He wasn't fumbling. He wasn't nervous at all. If anything, he looked like a man who'd just stumbled into an opportunity he wasn't planning to let slip away. I should have stepped back. I should have closed the robe tighter. But instead, I stayed right where I was. And he noticed. His gaze drifted down again, not in a disrespectful way, but like he was trying to solve a puzzle he'd suddenly become obsessed with. "You know," he murmured, "most people don't even open the door all the way. But you invited me in." "I guess I did," I whispered back. He smiled, a slow, crooked smile full of trouble. "Why?" He asked it gently, like he already knew the answer, but wanted to hear me admit it. My fingers brushed the edge of my robe without thinking. His eyes followed the movement instantly. "I don't know," I said softly. But that was a lie, and we both felt it. He took another step, barely an inch, but it was enough to close the distance between hesitation and intention. His hand didn't touch me, but it hovered near my waist, close enough that my skin tingled like it wanted him to. And damn, I did. "Tell me to leave," he said. His voice was a quiet challenge. "I will, right now. Just say the word." I didn't. I couldn't. He read that silence like a confession. "Didn't think so," he whispered. He reached up, slowly, like he was giving me every second to pull away. But I didn't move, not even a breath. His fingers brushed a loose strand of hair behind my ear, then trailed down my jaw. A soft, barely there touch. But my whole body reacted like he'd set something on fire. "You're shaking," he said quietly. "No, I'm not." He smiled again. "Yeah, you are." "I shouldn't be doing this," I whispered. He leaned in just enough for his lips to almost touch the corner of mine. "But you want to." It wasn't a question. I exhaled, slow, shaky, defeated, and he felt every inch of it. And then, with his voice warm against my cheek, he whispered, "I can feel it. Every part of you is telling me not to stop." My knees almost gave out. His words hung in the air, thick and heavy, like they tipped something over inside me that couldn't be undone. I should have ended it. I should have stepped back, closed the door, pretended none of this ever happened. But instead, I let the moment breathe. He watched me, not hungrily, not aggressively, but with this steady, intentional focus that made it impossible to look away. Like he was waiting for me to choose, fully, freely, consciously. I tightened my robe just slightly, not to hide anything, but to steady myself, to regain a fraction of control before I completely gave it away. He noticed that too. Do you want me to stop? His voice softened, not teasing now, but sincere. I held his gaze. No. That one word loosened something in both of us. He stepped closer, slow enough that I could have stopped him at any second, but I didn't. My body leaned into him before my mind even caught up. His hand moved to my waist, warm, firm, careful, guiding me back until my hips brushed the hallway wall. Not trapped, just held. Like he wanted me to feel safe and wanted at the same time. I didn't expect this when I rang your doorbell, he murmured. I didn't expect to open it, I replied. He chuckled, low and quiet, brushing his thumb across my hip like he was memorizing the shape of me. I guess we surprised each other. Then his forehead rested lightly against mine. A gentle pause, a breath shared. A moment that said whatever happens now is ours to choose. No pressure, no rush, just the warm, electric truth hanging between us. I should go, he whispered, but he didn't move. You should, I whispered back, but I didn't either. And for a long, suspended second, we stayed like that. Not touching, not kissing, just two people standing in a doorway that suddenly felt like a line between the life we knew and the one we were one decision away from stepping into. Finally, he pulled back just enough to meet my eyes. If you ever want me to come inside again, he said softly, you won't have to ask twice. He handed me the package gently, almost reluctantly, and walked back down the steps, glancing over his shoulder once with a look that said everything he didn't dare speak aloud. I closed the door, my heart thudding, my lips still tingling from a kiss that never even happened, but somehow felt more real than anything that did.